Kia ora, bros and girls, welcome back to the channel. So just for the last push to 100% Uncollected, I know it's a little bit late, but if you're still hanging out there and trying to get your head around Emma Frost and Omega Red, here's a couple of videos for you. So let's start with Emma Frost. She basically has two forms, Diamond form and Telepath. When she's in Diamond form, she's pretty much immune to everything you can think of. And she has a lot of increased resistance. And when she's in Telepath form, she is hittable, but she can do a lot of damage. When she's awakened, she'll invert your controls on her special attacks, and her special attacks cause power sting, concussion, and stuff like that. So there are a few strategies here. First of all, is having to retrain your mind to run with the inverted controls, a little bit like how Thanos had to be, you know. So that's really important. You can see there what I'm actually doing is I'm swiping right to evade the SP1, stunning her. Also, when you armor break her, she goes straight into Telepath form. She can't go into Diamond form. So Thor and Medusa are kind of okay for her. I tend to bring in, when I was practicing, I tend to bring in one or a couple of champs that I know I'm not going to do a heck of a lot of damage, but just to get my head back into the game and use them as a test bed. So I got my ass handed to me there, but you know, just to get that whole right, left mechanism going. Now the other thing is she's got this oscillate node, and every 15 seconds she switches between super aggressive fury and super armor up. Now when she's got the fury on, she's going to come at you, so she's going to be quite easy to intercept. You can see here, I'll step back, she's going to come at me, and I can either step back or intercept. And when she switches over to the defensive one, right there, that blue at the top, now all of a sudden she's not going to want to throw her special so much. She's not going to come at you so much. She's going to be quite defensive. You can go in there and kind of get a few jabs in and walk out. This is a good time to make some space for evading the SP1. So yeah, basically the two keys here are training your mind to work with this inverted control, making sure that you get her onto her SP1 and just keep cycling that, and also just balancing this whole, she's going to come at you with fury and throw a lot of specials, and then she's going to be defensive and just go in her shell a little bit, and there you have to be a little bit more patient and kind of don't try to draw her out too much. Just kind of wait it out and know that when she comes back into fury, she's going to start throwing those SPs again. So don't push her to her SP2 or SP3, because it's game over for you. So this was actually a pretty decent run that I had. I don't one-shot her here, but I get her a fair bit. Now, in terms of champ selection, who's the most useful for her? A lot of the armor break champs are really good. Thor, Killmonger, Medusa are really good. Also, I have found that Yondu can be quite handy. I found that Green Goblin is really useful, and Star-Lord. Star-Lord was my go-to for Emma, just because so long as you can continue cycling through that SP1, heading out, you can just continue building up the damage. And here is a clip of me one-shotting her. Now, this was not in the Uncollected event. This was actually in those uncanny danger rooms. But even then, it was still a little bit hard to one-shot her. So it's a little bit, that one was a little bit different, but it was good for practice because she was on a power gain node. So the management was a bit different in terms of she could build her SP2 a lot quicker. So it was more about just evading getting to the SP2 rather than having to concentrate on the oscillate buff and intercepting and stuff. And also in the uncanny version, you could probably take a couple of hits. You can take a block instead of an evade. In Uncollected, there was very little room for error. You had to play it pretty much perfect if you wanted to one-shot her. So as you can see here, I'm continuing to evade that, right, left. I go in and just wait for that SP2 really. Right, left to go at her, and as soon as she throws the second one, she's open. So you can just swipe left to go back, but actually you dash into her and then you can start your combo from there. Star-Lord is really, really good against her. He was the solution for her, in my opinion. But here's another run. I don't know if you guys know, but I recently popped my 6 stars, and I got a Green Goblin and I got a Nebula. I'll do a separate video about that. But I kind of actually just ran Green Goblin here because he was one of the strongest I had, and I was trying to kind of save on pots. I was trying to go through without having to spend a lot of units. But I had a really good run with him. And it was the same thing, right, left. But the cool thing about Green Goblin as well is he had that power drain. So I would throw that power drain, which would drop my power level. It would drop her power level as well, but keep her higher than mine. So she would, for the most part, stay in telepath form. And I could just keep hacking at her. So you can see this run. I think I take a fair chunk off her before I mess up. But it's a very long fight, so you got to be quite patient and make very little errors. So you can see there, we're just evading, we're just waiting for that SB. We're getting in there. Evading, getting in there. Throw in that power drain, push her back up, and just keep cycling. And the cool thing about Green Goblin, especially in 6-star form, is that they've got this adrenaline mechanism in 6-star form. So when you do take a little bit of damage, you can kind of regain, I think, like 30 or 60% of it if you hit back almost straight away. It's got a little bit of a timer, and on top of that, you've got Green Goblin himself. When he takes damage, he can regen a certain proportion of it anyway. So it makes him quite a tank, quite a long-lasting champ. And you can see here, I did not come into this fight thinking I would do this well. I pretty much was using him as practice for Star-Lord, and but yeah, I had a really, really good run with him, and I think I ended up finishing it off with Star-Lord, but I got her down a fair bit. Even there you can see me just healing up, life stealing a little bit. Yeah, and see, once you cycle through and get that timing, the right, left, and once you can kind of read her SP1, get into her zone, it becomes pretty good. But you just got to build up that muscle memory. So it's about kind of focusing on her and just making sure you keep doing the same fights consistently. So when I was running these, I was just focusing on 3.1, and I would just keep getting to Emma and fighting. And if I don't get her below 60%, 50% on my first try, I wouldn't spend unit. I would just come out, maybe spend an energy refill if I want to, and I would get back in there. So yeah, hopefully that helped you out. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I hope that you can 100% uncollected this month, because it is a bit difficult. Okay, ka kite Hanna. We'll see you in the next one.